on the biggest week for WWE, as this is the week of the WWE draft. NXT had their spring break in here last night, as this was practically, possibly the last time some of your favorite NXT stars would be performing. Some of them being rumored to be heading up to the main roster, but to what company? To Raw? To SmackDown? And what WWE superstars could be heading down to the black and gold brand of NXT? Well, we'll find that out starting on Friday night with Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will have the first night of the WWE draft, and then of course Ridiculously Raw Monday night for night 2. But tonight we got the recap of the spring break-in and AEW Dynamite. Welcome everybody to Wednesday Night Madness. Hi everybody, it is Michael Fletcher alongside the guys Anthony Foyo, Michael Bullock. We are with you guys here tonight for another edition, and guys, we're just gonna dive right on in. It was the spring break-in for NXT as it went down last night. CWC exclusively on the the USA Network, wherever you had it around the world. All right, so with that said, let's just dive right on in. We'll start it off. And what we do start it off with is it was a tag team fight, as it was pretty deadly, going up against Tony D'Angelo and Stax Lorenzo in a trunk match. When it was all said and done, the winners of the bout in 12 minutes and 31 seconds was Tony D and Stax, putting Pretty Deadly away. A solid opener, good matchup. Could have been better in certain areas, but, I'm not going to be too mad about it. When you get 12 minutes and 31 seconds, that was a solid performance. So I'll say 3 stars. There has been rumors about maybe Pretty Deadly actually heading up to the main roster, getting drafted. They are one of the names that possibly could be heading up to either Raw or SmackDown. Rumors are saying Raw for Pretty Deadly. I don't know if that's the case or not, but we will find out, like I said, either on Friday or on Monday night. But if this was their swan song on NXT, this was a pretty good way to go out. A very solid matchup, a 3-star bout. Anthony Florio, it is all yours.
This was a fun street fight style match that only got to its stipulation in the last couple minutes. It could have been more involved or longer, but the weapons were the focus during in-ring action. This is almost certainly the end of Pretty Deadly in NXT. They made the brand better and will be greatly missed. Wilson and Prince will easily fit in on the main roster. Pretty Deadly carried a table off the ramp, refusing to use it. Wilson and Prince isolated the underboss and carried him to the car. He found a fire extinguisher in the trunk to set up the finish. The night ended with the family sending Pretty Deadly to the bottom of a nearby river and focusing back on the NXT Tag Team Championship. Yeah, they're main roster bound. There is no doubt about it. Where they end up, we don't know. Will we find out Friday night? Will we find out next Monday? I don't know. We'll have to wait and find out. But after what we saw at the end of the show, there's no question about it, gentlemen. Pretty Deadly is main roster bound. There is no doubt about it. So wait and see. That's all there is to it. So not much more to say on this. I'll give it about 3.25 for the effort. So not much more to say here. Phenom, Michael Bullock, here you go. This was your newest big show here, spring breaking. Fun street fight style match to start it off. But at the end, after what we saw at the end, there is no doubt about it. Pretty Deadly is main roster bound.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Pretty Deadly, I think, is on its way to the main roster. But like you said, we'll find out on Monday night or Friday night or Monday night where they'll be going. Could they be going to Raw? Could they be going to SmackDown? We'll find out. But whoever gets Pretty Deadly is definitely going to make their tag team division better. So we'll wait and see on that. So 3.25 stars is my rating for this match. I mean, it was a good match. It definitely could have been better in some spots, but yeah, this was definitely a good way for Pretty Deadly, even though they did lose, a good way for them to go out. So nothing more to say. It's yours, Fletch.
All right, next up we had was Braun Breaker going up against Andre Chase. Braun Breaker winning the match in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. We don't really need to talk about this one. This was kind of a showcase fight for Braun Breaker now as a full-fledged heel. Really not much to talk about. Here's one that we do need to talk about. Lara Valkyria versus Cora Jade. Cora Jade winning the match in 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Anthony Florio, it is yours.
All right. This was anticlimactic. It was an anticlimactic end to a rivalry that seemed to be finally getting off the ground. The two struggled to find their chemistry throughout, especially in the home stretch of the match. NXT is fully behind Cora Jade, who, with all due respect, I don't think she's quite ready for the main roster yet. I believe she would be an obvious next challenger to the NXT Women's Championship, perhaps even the next title holder. It would have been interesting for Lyra Valkyria to get the win here, to pull off the upset here. She now falls behind in the pecking order, but hopefully she can recover with strong wins against other women in NXT. Valkyria battled back against Cora Jade's early dominance with a series of kicks, a pair of bridging suplexes, and a high-angle baseball slide. I can only give this about 2.5 to 2 3/4 of a star for the effort. So, not much more to say here. Michael Bullock, big win for Cora Jade. I think she needs a little more seasoning before she heads to the main roster. I don't think she's there yet, but she will be eventually, but not just yet.
Yeah, I think this is one person that we know for sure is not going to get drafted to any of the shows. I mean, she needs a little more seasoning. I mean, especially with her heel character, and I think she's more fitting to be the next challenger for Indy Hartwell in that NXT Women's Championship. So, I'll give this about 2.5 stars. I mean, part of me was thinking maybe Valkyria was going to pull off the upset, but I think in the end, I think this was the right choice. So nothing more to say. It's your Fletch.
Yeah,
2.5 is my rating.
All right. Going into this, I think there was a little bit of a push for Cora to possibly get called up because apparently the higher ups loved her. I guess she had a recently, she was on Main Event, or she had a fight previous to the big show. And you know, and Anthony and Mike Bullock, we know some guys from NXT have been called up to do main event programs and, you know, dark fights before Raw and SmackDown. And apparently she really impressed a lot of the WWE brass. So there was a rumor about maybe her going up. Now, her name has actually been vaulted within the last week or so, that there is an outside shot of her going to the main roster. But after what we saw last night, I think the odds of her going is probably, and I'm going to say maybe 25-75. 25% she goes to the main roster, 75%, the majority of it, feels like she's probably going to end up being NXT bound, remaining on NXT, and not getting called up to the main roster yet. I think we're in an agreement with that one. So nothing more to say. So right after that, we had ourselves was a big one. This was being labeled the championship fight. NXT title on the line. The champion, Carmelo Hayes, versus the challenger, Grayson Waller. Oh, excuse me. I felt it too. I knew I was going to sneeze. I'm sorry. Sorry, folks. All right. Winner of the belt. 12 minutes and 3 seconds. Still the NXT champion, the A champ, Carmelo Hayes. However, during the match, I hate to say it, the X came up. Grayson Waller got hurt. I kind of felt like something went wrong, especially towards the end. I was like, uh-oh, something ain't right. Even after the 1-2-3, Waller rolled out of the ring fast. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but the X went up. So I was like, oh no, Grayson is hurt. So I haven't heard anything yet about Grayson Waller. I feel horrible for him. This guy can catch a break. This was a damn good fight. Michael Bullock, the champion, remains the champion at 12:03, but it looks like you might have just suffered a casualty. Grayson Waller got hurt.
Yeah, that was not good. As soon as you saw the X come up, it's like, yeah, this guy's seriously hurt. I mean, 3.5 stars is my rating for this, but man, oh man, this was a good match here, and man, Grayson Waller just can't catch a break here. You're thinking maybe he's gonna get a big time push, but now this is just a big time setback, and I haven't heard anything about his injury, but hopefully we'll get some info on this as time goes on. But I got this feeling that we're not going to be seeing Grayson Waller for a while. But here's another thing that came out of the match afterwards. Carmelo Hayes called out Braun Breaker, and Breaker basically attacked both him and Trick Williams. So something tells me that this feud is far from over with these two. So there's really nothing more to say. Fletch, your boy's still the champ, but Grayson Waller, yeah, I got this bad feeling he's going to be out for quite a long time.
I hope it's not for a long time. I really hope it's not a serious injury, but it looked pretty bad enough. So I do know that something definitely did not go right there. Look, it was a damn good story. The match was amazing. The title fight was solid. This was 3.5 stars. This was fight of the night in my mind. The crowd was saying it. This was awesome. There was a couple of moments where it looked a little awkward, and I get it, but I kind of felt like I sensed it. There was a moment in that fight where I was like, oh, whoa, that did not look good. Once I saw the ending and how Grayson rolled out of the ring, I was like, oh, no, Waller's hurt. And sure enough, I don't know if it was an arm. I don't know if it's a leg, but you could tell Grayson got hurt. Thoughts and prayers with Grayson Waller. Hopefully he's okay, and hopefully it's not too serious where he'll be back in no time. Maybe hopefully he'll just take a little bit of a break, a little time off. But at the end of the day, this was a damn good championship fight. Anthony Florio, 3.5 stars for me. Fight of the night, 12:03, the time of the fall, and the champion remains the champion. The A champ is still the face of NXT.
What happened with Grayson Waller is just one of those things where something went wrong, but it was not anything where you would think that anything would go wrong. We're just going to leave it at that. So I haven't heard anything either. I've been doing some investigative reporting here, and I have not seen anything regarding Grayson Waller's status. So that's the only thing that I can give you for right now. So read into it what you will. Take it with a grain of salt, but just gonna have to wait and see on that one. I definitely agree here. This was a 3.5 star match. Fantastic championship match that could have easily closed the show, which I don't know why it did, but it didn't. It should have. The chemistry between the two was unbelievable, setting up impressive sequences left and right. As far as what happened with the post-match, given how poorly Mello versus Breaker went the first time, the company may be missing out on magic by not playing out one more of Hayes versus Waller. The post-match action between Mello and Breakker was very good, selling the heat between the two men. Hopefully they can deliver big the second time around at Battleground on May 28th. While Mello and the referee were arguing, Waller blasted Trick Williams with a steel chair. Hayes pulled off an unreal springboard reverse DDT for a near fall. Mello countered the return, rolling cutter into a double knee facebuster attempt, but Waller used his strength to keep him up and planted with a powerbomb. Challenger nearly won the title with his return rolling cutter, but the challenger rolled outside to escape the pin. Waller then elbowed him through the announce table. Vic Joseph going nuts. You know how much I love that. So, fantastic match. 3.5 stars. But let's not forget, guys, it's going to be Carmelo Hayes, Braun Breaker 2, the rematch from Stand and Deliver at Battleground, May 28th, Memorial Day weekend. Lowell, Mass, Songus Arena, get ready. That's all I say. Brace yourself, because I got a feeling this one's going to be better. So, 3.5 stars, fight of the night. Not much more to say. Let's continue on.
We do indeed continue on, and the next thing we did have was a mixed tag fight. This was highly anticipated. Brooks Jansen and Kiana James going up against Josh Briggs and Fallon Henley. It was Fallon Henley and Josh Briggs winning the match in 11 minutes and 43 seconds. Look, all right fight, solid match. I say about, this was about maybe a 3-star bout. Could have it been better? Yes. But, I'm not going to fault anybody here. There was still some good action, not great. Everybody tried to do their parts. It looks like Brooks and Jansen looks like they had a hug it out moment after the match was over. It was actually a mistake that was done by Jansen as he accidentally knocked off Kiana James off the apron when the bag came into play. Jansen was looking to hit Briggs with the bag. And eventually knocked Kiana off. She was not having it. She bolts out, and let's just say the lovers' romance kind of went a little south there. So maybe this is the end of the storyline. Who knows? Maybe Brooks and Jansen might be on their way to the main roster. So I don't know. I mean, could that be the reason why they brought them back together, had that hug it out moment? Possibly reunite them to maybe send them off to the main roster. Now, I don't think Fallon Henley will go because, there's been times where, you had like the Enzo and Cass. Enzo and Cass went, but Carmella got left behind. In hindsight, that was the right move because Carmella has far succeeded any success she had with them. Maybe this might happen again. Brooks Jansen and Josh Briggs might be heading off to the main roster. Keep Fallon Henley at NXT to groom her a little more. Who knows? But whatever the case may be, this is a solid fight. 3.25. That's my rating. Anthony, it's yours. What? Oh, all right. Anthony, do you have us?
Can you hear me?
I sure can. 3.25. Yep, 3.25. It was Fallon Henley and Josh Briggs winning in 11:43.
Sleeper fight of the night, shockingly good. While the wrestlers involved have steadily improved through a flat story, it was still hard to get excited about this one. But Briggs and Jensen carried their tag team chemistry forward into a battle against one another. Henley also was on fire, putting on her strongest sequence in the ring to date. The crowd chanted, "We want Fallon" early in this match, and cheered her as the biggest star in the match when she was in control. It looks like this story is over, and it was a genuinely good ending. Jensen finally saw through Kiana James, and Briggs forgave his young friend. Jensen, Briggs, and Henley should get a big push after this. Jensen looked to be trying to make amends to Henley, but he got blasted with a running shoulder block from Briggs. Henley tripped James off the apron and threw her into the steel steps. The distraction allowed Jensen to hit Briggs with a running spinning heel kick. So there's no question about that. Shockingly good. 3 to 3.25 stars, sleeper fight of the night. I had low expectations for this. I thought this was going to be the worst fight here. Well, other than the Braun Breaker delicious squash, but I'll tell you, surprisingly good. So not much more to say. Michael Bullock, this was shockingly good and far better than it had any right to be, honestly.
Yeah, this turned out to be far better than what I expected. I thought this was going to be something not so good, but I enjoyed it. I mean, the action was solid. I mean, it could have been better in some spots, but you know what? Both sides, I thought, gave all they can handle. And yeah, I mean, this is definitely the end, and Jansen finally saw through Kiana James, and obviously with the mistake that was made, and Kiana just walked out, and looks like Briggs and Jensen are back together, and we'll see what happens from here. So, 3.25. Let's move on, Fletch.
Talking about two guys who are definitely the future of NXT, Oro Messiah versus Obi Fema, and it was Obi winning the match in 3:35. We don't really need to talk about this one. These are two guys that you normally would see on Level Up. Anthony, you probably know these two really well, more than we would, because not me and Bullock normally covers Level Up. But it was good for Obi. Nice little win. Leads us to the main event of the evening. Triple threat match for the NXT Women's title, as it was Indy Hartwell, Roxanne Perez, and Tiffany Stratton. Indy Hartwell successfully defends the title, winning the match in 15 minutes and 12 seconds. Anthony, it's yours.
You could also make an argument for this to be the fight of the night, but here's the thing, though. It started strong, but it got a bit sloppy down the stretch. It's possible that Indy Hartwell legitimately hurt her ankle, which forced Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez to improvise. If so, they did their best in a tough situation. However, Hartwell gutted it out, came back for a big title victory. She has continued to build a solid legacy as champion, more than all of us expected when she first won the title. The result would heavily imply Roxanne Perez is headed to the main roster, doing the honors on her way out. The 21-year-old was invaluable to NXT, but could have been used better as champion and challenger before getting the call-up. Stratton nearly stole the win with a running double foot stomp to Perez, and then took out both women outside with a moonsault to the floor. Hartwell hurt her knee on the floor, leaving the Prodigy in the center of the universe alone in the ring, and Perez nearly regained the title with a Frankensteiner. But, 3.25, teetering on 3.5. That closing stretch hurt it a bit for me, but other than that, it was a very good match. The Cinderella run of Indy Hartwell continues. The question is the severity of her injury, not just Grayson Waller, but also Indy Hartwell as well. So that's something that we also have to keep an eye on too, especially Indy Hartwell, because she is the face of the women's division as the NXT Women's Champion. So Bullock's going to have to keep an eye on that one. But, we'll wait and see what happens. So 3.25 stars. Michael Bullock, it started out so great, but that closing stretch killed it for me. But other than that, very good match. Indy, the Cinderella run continues. Severity of her injury, you got to keep an eye on. But I want to make a bold prediction right here and now. I believe Roxanne Perez is headed to the main roster.
Yeah, I definitely could see that happening, but as we said with all these other things, we'll have to wait and see what happens either Friday or Monday night. So 3.25, 3.5. I'm with you on this one. I mean, this was a solid match, but yeah, the ending did get sloppy and it did kill it. So yeah, I mean. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the injury to Indy Hartwell. So, but other than that, great, a good match here. So, nothing more to say. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, it was a good matchup. It was a great title fight. I'm gonna go. I'm with you guys on this. This was easily another 3.5 star bout. It could have been a lot more better in certain areas, but at the end of the day, I feel like the right person won. But I don't know, guys. I think they might have swung and missed here because obviously Roxanne Perez definitely is going. I honestly felt like this was Tiffany Stratton's moment. I thought Tiffany was going to win the belt because I thought Indy was on her way to the main roster. Now I'm a little concerned. I don't know if that's going to happen now. Obviously they're going to keep with Indy still as champion. Most likely that means she's not going to get called up. Tiffany definitely was not getting called up at all. And yeah, Roxanne's the prodigy is on her way to the main roster. There's no doubt about it now. How's that going to play out? What's that going to look like? I don't know. But whatever the case may be, this was a solid close. It was sloppy in certain areas, and there was a major botchamania moment in one part of the match that I almost was like, oh my God. So, but nice way to bounce back, nice recovery at the end. But yeah, it is what it is. Overall review, Michael Bullock, spring break-in. The last time you're probably going to see a lot of these NXT stars, man. What's your sentiments? How you feeling?
Oh, I thought it was a good show. I mean, it could have been better, like I said, in most spots. I mean, I'll give this about 7.5. You had a couple of matches that were in the worst, the top two worst fights of the night's category with the with the with Braun Breaker and Andre Chase in that other match, but everything else was solid to good. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. Of course, come Friday and Monday nights. So yeah, 7.5 for me. It's yours, Fletch.
Yeah, 7.5. Solid match, no doubt about. Solid show. Pretty good. Nothing really more to add. Anthony, go.
7.5 for me as well. Not not a blowaway or anything, but it was solid enough. It served its purpose, and some good matches here and there. We did have a couple of squashes, which made it feel like a normal show, but it is what it is. But we got the Battleground main event set, so that's big. So, and it definitely gave us answers to who's going to the main roster. As far as I'm concerned, Pretty Deadly's on their way, and I believe Roxy's on her way as well. So 7.5 for me. Let's get to Dynamite.
All right, from Sunshine, Florida, the FLA Live Arena, home of the Florida Panthers. Oh, by the way, for all you hockey nuts out there, the Panthers stay alive. An overtime win over the Boston Bruins. The Bruins failed to shut the door on the Panthers, and we do have a game 6. And lo and behold, it's going back to Sunrise, Florida, back to that FLA Live Arena, and that game is now set for Friday night. We don't have an official time. I believe it's 7:30. It's gonna be one of those times, but there will be a game 6. Floyo?
My mistake. I thought you were talking about AEW Rampage. My mistake.
Last thing I needed to be reminded was of that game. That was just awful.
Yeah.
Classic case of the WrestleMania 5 there. Bullock's trying to forget about it. You just brought it back in.
Oh, well. Screw it. That's what I say. Anyway.
Somehow I had the feeling you were going to say that. I mean, it was bad enough that the Celtics lost last night, and then, this. 2 not good nights for me.
It hasn't been a pleasant couple of nights for one Michael Bullock. I will openly admit that.
And we'll address that tomorrow night on TXN Sports World.
And we will indeed address that tomorrow night on TXN Sports World because the Bruins beat is not done yet. So, with that said, all right. So let's start with AEW Dynamite. We're starting off with Orange Cassidy versus Bandito for the International Championship. Orange Cassidy successfully defends the title, man. Wins it again. of 15 minutes and 20 seconds. Great opening match. 3.5 to 4 stars. Unbelievable matchup. It was back and forth. It was incredible that you expected. There's really nothing more for me to add here. This was a damn good opener. So, Anthony Florio, it is yours. 3.5 to 4. And as always, the champion remains the champion.
And you know more about Bandito than Bullock and I do, MF. I mean, you know what he's capable of. And
this was his personal best, in my opinion.
There you go. So, all right. On that note, the match continued Orange Cassidy's strong run as the international champion, which has seen him net more successful title defenses in his AEW career than anyone other than Jade Cargill. For a guy often considered a comedy act, he's been the workhorse for AEW in 2023 so far, defending his title almost weekly against a slate of different wrestlers with different styles and backgrounds. And the result's always the same. Banger of a match. You don't necessarily have to like Orange Cassidy or his shtick, but there is no denying that he's putting in the work and delivering quality performances to justify his place as the international champion. This was more of the same. Now it'll be up to Tony Khan to have some sort of end game in place for the eventual end of his reign, because I believe there could come a time when fans will get tired of seeing him win all of his matches. He must avoid that. And for the sake of Orange Cassidy and the connection he has had with the fans from day one, if nothing else. Bandito dropped Cassidy across the guardrail, establishing himself as the heel of the match, even as he still looked for the adulation of the audience. The challenger hoisted Cassidy up with one arm and brought him down with a gorilla press slam, then added an Eddie Guerrero-inspired frog splash for 2. Bandito popped freshly squeezed up into the air, and the champ came down with the orange punch, then added the beach break for the successful title defense. Very good matchup here. 3.5 to 4. I 100% agree with the rating. I'll even go as far as to call it fight of the night, if I'm going to be honest with you, because that's how great it was. And if I said it once, I'll say it again, and I will never ever get tired of saying this. That international championship is the best thing that's ever happened to Orange Cassidy, and because of that, he's the most over he's ever been. He's making that title prestigious and relevant. I mean, when this title was first announced, you're like, oh, God, another belt? Really? But ever since they put it on Orange Cassidy, he has made that belt a must-see belt. Because MJF is not going to be, a workhorse champion like him, like Orange. But Orange Cassidy, being that, we can definitely call this the workhorse title in AEW. Like Gunther is making the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship the workhorse title in the WWE right now. Orange Cassidy is doing the exact same thing for that International Championship. And the longer they keep it on him, the better it's going to be for the company, as far as I'm concerned. He has been there's only been 2 champions, but his reign far better than Pac's was, with all due respect to Pac. So not much more to say on this. 3.5 to 4 stars. Keep that title on him, and yeah, we're going to continue to get bangers of matches, regardless of who he defends against. And he's going to be involved in a big match next week, and we'll address that later on. But it's not a title match. So 3.5 to 4, fight of the night. Michael Bullock, I mean, what is it with Orange Cassidy in these international title matches? I mean, they just keep getting better and better and better. He's making that title so prestigious. He's doing exactly what AEW was hoping for, giving us a reason to take that title seriously.
And we are taking it seriously. I mean, and that was smart of Tony Khan to put the title on Orange Cassidy, because he's made that title relevant since he won it, and he's put on banger after banger of matches since winning the title, and this right here was no different. 3.5 to 4. I'm with you guys on this one. I mean, this impressive run continues for him. Hopefully, it continues for a little longer. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So nothing more to say. Fletch, it is yours.
All right, indeed. And we'll move right on along with the next fight, as it was Jeff Jarrett versus Dax Harwood of FTR. Jeff Jarrett winning the match in roughly 11 minutes. Anthony, Can we say it? Championship committee moment?
Well, perhaps for the tag team championship. I mean, FTR are the champions. Jeff Jarrett represents him and Jay Lethal. They are the tag team of the group, and technically he got the win. But let's be real. It may go down in the record books as a win for Jeff Jarrett, but let's be realistic. Jeff Jarrett did not win that match. Sanjay Dutt won that match. Let's be realistic. It was
don't get me going on that ham and egger jabroni.
Well, unfortunately, he was the difference in this one. Unfortunately, championship committee moment, MF. I'll give you the short version. By hook or by crook, Jeff Jarrett set himself and Jay Lethal up for a future World Tag Team title opportunity by way of his win over Dax Harwood tonight. Yes, it involved Bullock's boy Sanjay Dutt, but the heels emerged victoriously to necessitate the continuation of the feud in what is likely to be a championship encounter at Double or Nothing on May 28th. Jeff Jarrett was great here, hanging right there with Harwood and never once looking like he was too old to keep up with a guy in his prime. The Hall of Famer is a rare breed of a worker who is as effective and relevant 4 decades into his career as he was early on. Given the array of talent involved, the pay-per-view match will likely be very good, not unlike what we got in this singles match. And props to Taz for the Ticonderoga Jones nickname for Dutt as well, given the loudmouth villain's love for the old number 2 pencil. Referee Aubrey Edwards ordered Satnam Singh, Jay Lethal, and Sanjay Dutt to the back before they even stepped onto the stage. Cash Wheeler, did not accompany Harwood, ensuring the match would be one-on-one. And Sanjay returned to the ringside area from out of nowhere, distracted Harwood, and led him on a foot chase directly into the stroke by Jeff Jarrett for the win. 3 to 3.25 stars is the rating for this. And unfortunately, we're going to have to hold Michael Bullock back because, when I saw this, I'm like, uh-oh. When Bullock sees this and gets word of this, he's going to be in an Undertaker movie.
He's going to be PO'd. He was going to be PO'd. Yep.
Because let's be realistic. Michael Bullock absolutely positively loathes and detests Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah, I think loaded detest is an understatement. He straight up despises the guy. And quite frankly, I don't blame him.
Yeah, and I can see why too, and I can see why because he's as our dear friend Dee Dee Woodson always says, he's a little idiot, an annoying little idiot, a pain in the ass, if you will.
Yeah, he's the ultimate pain in the ass. I mean, this guy, just by the way he talks, I mean, up close to the camera, is just somebody put a damn muzzle over his mouth. Because it's like, you know what? I'm going to compare him to like somebody taking their fingers on a chalkboard and literally running it right down. That's how I compare him. That's how I compare Sanjay Dutt.
Dean Douglas with the nails on a chalkboard there. Yeah. But anywho, 3 to 3.25 stars. And MF Bullock cannot stand Sanjay Dutt so much, and I can't, to the point that we have dubbed Sanjay Dutt as the new lame duck man, taking the reins from the previous lame duck man, which was Sami Zayn before Sami got ridiculously over. So
yep.
So there isn't much more to say on that. So because of the fact that Sami got so ridiculously over and won the hearts of all of us, and I mean all of us, especially over the last 3 months, Sanjay Dutt inherits the name Lame Duck Man from Sami after he was that for the longest time. So there isn't much more to say on that. 3 to 3.25 stars. Bullock, I'll tell you, solid match, good match. Unfortunately, Mr. Lame Duck Man, Sanjay Dutt. And it's a damn shame because, I mean, I remember Sanjay Dutt when he was in TNA, and he was like a Sami Zayn. He was an underdog. I mean, you wanted to root for him. I wanted to root for him. But now when he was the original player from the Himalaya, X Division pioneer, and a former champion in his own right, got a big won the title in his home country of India, one of the great moments in Impact history. But the way he's acting nowadays, that moment's forever tarnished. So not much more. 3 3.25. So Bullock, unfortunately, good match, bad ending, and it's all because of Mr. Lame Duck, the new Mr. Lame Duck man, Sanjay Dutt.
Yeah, so someday I'd like to get my hands on that pretty boy douchebag, and I'd like to take him to the woodshed and beat the shit out of him. I mean,
Boneyard style, like Taker did the AJ.
Oh yeah, put him in that graveyard or boneyard, whatever you want to call it, and I'll bury his effing ass 6 feet under. That's how I feel about him. And if there's anybody who actually likes this guy, then dude, you people are more stupid than Sanjay Dutt. So 3 stars. I could go higher, but that pretty boy douchebag had to ruin this for me. So I'm not gonna go anymore. So Fletch, really, just take it before I really go off on this guy.
All right, no problem. 3 stars, solid match, great battle. Yeah, there's really nothing more for us to add here. So again, Tony Khan coming with a big announcement, and we're like, oh great, what is it this time? No, this was actually really cool, guys. So for the 2nd year in a row, we're gonna have the Owen Hart Cup. And the opening ceremonies of this tournament will happen at Double or Nothing. The tournament will be held in Canada, including Forbidden Door, which is in Toronto. And he also said it's also fitting because of the fact that Owen Hart was a former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, which is true. So there's a chance we might even see some New Japan guys be involved in this tournament. Junior heavyweight guys in this tournament. The tournament final will be July 15th in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. The home of Owen Hart, the home of the Hart family. Now, if you notice, July 15th is a Saturday night. You're thinking, wait a minute. Why? Is there a special event? This is the reason why we're saying this. There is a rumor going around that sometime down the line, not yet, but there is a rumor about a brand new AEW Saturday night show that's going to be on either TNT or TBS. And the rumor is that the name of the show is going to be called Collision. Now, if that's the case, this could be the equivalent of WCW Saturday Night. And on top of that, they are talking about splitting the rosters a la WWE, where we'll have half the roster go to Dynamite, the other half of the roster goes to Collision. And that would open the door for more opportunities for the organization to utilize the people they have not used, and the ones who've been griping and complaining that this would be their opportunity to get their spotlight in the brand. Now, if that's the case, this is major news, because for that would close a lot of loopholes and a lot of the problems that AEW has been dealing with lately. The one thing that has been a major gripe with a lot of stars is the quality time or the airtime that they want on TV. And a lot of them have been relegated to Dark and Dark Elevation, but the problem is nobody really cares about those shows because nobody really watches that on the internet. And now, if this show actually does happen, and if all this does happen, this is a big win for AEW, because at least that would show that Tony Khan is listening. he does understand the situation and is going to appease not only the fans, but the talent themselves. So great move, AEW. Great move, Tony Khan. If all these rumors are true, again, take it with a pinch of salt. We got to wait and see what's going to happen. But the Owen Hart tournament is indeed coming back, just like we had. I think it was a year ago. Men's and women's tournaments will be held. But this is the interesting part. The entire tournament held in Canada and the finals in Calgary, which is a big deal. Now the opening ceremonies will be held at Double or Nothing, and there will be tournament matches at Forbidden Door. That will be humongous to have. Plus, how are they going to incorporate the rest of the tournament, and where will those remaining tournament matches be held? Or will there be a tour of Canada, and that's where they'll put it on Dynamite and Rampage, and that's when we'll have all the tournament matches. So you got to think about it this way. Ottawa, Winnipeg, Vancouver, Saskatoon, Toronto, all of the provinces of Canada most likely will be held and worked in this event. Who knows? They might even use the that brand new arena that they built for the Quebec Nordiques. They might even have it in Quebec, for heaven's sakes. You don't know. So we'll wait and see. Guys, you want to jump in? Give a quick thought about this Owen Hart tournament?
Well, as the Hart family aficionado, it would only be fitting if I did. So, love it, absolutely love it, and the fact that they're doing it in Canada, that's a major coup there, and Calgary for the final, that's awesome. Saddle Dome, the home of the Flames, guys. That's where it'll be, and you know, you think the Saddle Dome, you think about one of the greatest pay-per-view events of all time, Canadian Stampede, 1997. That's garnered universal praise all around the world. One of the greatest of all time. Definitely maybe the greatest of the In Your House series. It was so good. Owen was the hero of that 10-man tag. He's the guy who beat Stone Cold Steve Austin. I haven't forgotten that. But yes, all kidding aside, I mean, we had a lot of fun with it last year. Adam Cole winning the men's side, and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, winning the women's side. And the most intriguing thing for me, MF, it's Forbidden Door. I mean, New Japan guys getting a chance at this? Yes, please sign us up. I mean, you know New Japan better than Bullock and I do. We don't follow New Japan as religiously as you do. I wouldn't know which kinds of talent would get that opportunity. You said like junior heavyweight guys. I don't really know who's near that junior heavyweight side of things.
Right now, I would say if you're talking about junior heavyweights, I would say guys like Kenta, guys like Taiji Ishimori, guys like Zack Sabre Jr., and one guy who right now is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, the Time Bomb, Yujiro Takahashi. Yujiro Takahashi. We could see him in it. Obviously, there's going to be more guys in it because remember, this wasn't just junior heavyweights. This will probably be regular heavyweights. So, I mean, yes, they're talking about Owen Hart being a junior heavyweight champion, but when you're talking about this type of tournament, I mean, the door could be open for anybody to jump in on this. But and I do believe that, especially with the women too, it really depends. I mean, of course, we were all rooting for Ruby Soho to win it all. It didn't happen. I think a lot of people were a little disappointed that it didn't happen. But yeah, so we'll wait and see. It kind of depends how they want to play this. So, but yeah, we'll flow it back to you. All right, we kind of lost Florio for the moment. That's all right, no problem. If we get him back, we'll give him a quick thought. But like, give me a quick thought on the Owen Hart Cup.
I think this is perfect. I mean, to do this in Canada, I mean, especially with the finals being in Calgary, and with some of this, of course, happening during that Forbidden Door. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, normally we cringe with some of the things that Tony Khan says when he comes to his announcement, but this one here was a major announcement, and he definitely should be commended for this. And I mean, look, the success of the Owen Hart Cup was just so good, and I was hoping that he would bring it back, and that's exactly what he did. So, and this is just the way, Fletch, to honor the memory of Owen Hart, something that WWE could not do. I mean, in a respectable way. I mean, yes, they did the tribute on Raw, but what Tony Khan has done is, I mean, it's just awesome. I mean, I can't wait to see who's going to be in this. So that's pretty much all I got to say on this. So, Florio, you got any quick anything you want to finish up with your thought?
Yeah, I mean, before I was so rudely interrupted, yes, my connection's still wobbly, but we're getting there. We're getting there with it. But guys, I'll tell you, I mean, we're all excited about it, but nobody's more excited about it than I am, because you guys all know that I have a forever love for the Hart family, especially Bret the Hitman Hart. And I may have been a Bret the Hitman mark, but I had an immense love and respect for the entire Hart family. Owen was no exception. And, the fact that they're doing this to honor him, I mean, it's the best honor that he has received. And there's an even bigger honor that we all wish he would get someday, but we all know that's probably not likely going to happen unless hell freezes over or pigs fly. But story for another day. But this is definitely the best thing that anybody has done for Owen Hart since his tragic passing, and I do mean tragic passing, nearly a quarter century ago. And there isn't much more to say. I'm just so. I know Tony Khan gets a lot of hate and a lot of flack for certain things he's done, but this is one of the rare times that Tony Khan should get praised, and for him to do this in honor of Owen Hart. And I can't wait to find out who's in it. I don't know if Adam Cole's going to be in it again on the men's side. I don't know if Britt's going to be in on the women's side, or if they're going to, open it up to guarantee new winners. I don't know. We'll see. But the Forbidden Door thing, that's the one that intrigues me the most. So can't wait for it. Starts next month, and then it concludes as in the only place that it should be, the Saddle Dome in Calgary. So MF, second straight Tony Khan announcement that it was actually good. I mean, we all slammed him for the All Access announcement, but the last two, with the All In pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium in August, and now this, two straight big announcements, and hopefully there'll be more of these in the future. So not much more to say. MF, I'm happy about it. I'm excited. I can't wait. So let's continue on.
All right. With that said, we do indeed will indeed continue on. And the next thing that we did have here was Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin. Sammy Guevara winning the match by disqualification. He will indeed earn a shot for the AEW World Title at Double or Nothing. But hold, it's not done yet. Tony Schiavone got on the mic. I guess this came from Tony Khan himself. And there will be a tag team match next week, saying that if Darby Allin and Jungle Boy Jack Perry do win that match, that the title fight at Double or Nothing will become a fatal four-way. If it doesn't, then it will be Sammy Guevara versus MJF one-on-one for the title. It's going to be a fatal four-way. Come on, let's not kid ourselves here. I mean, why did they have to do this four pillars tournament if it was going to end up in a fatal four-way? for the whole time? Why couldn't they just announce it and then build it? I mean, God forbid. I mean, great announcement by the Owen Hart thing, and then you fuck it up with this bullshit. I mean, come on, AEW. I mean, literally, seriously, come on. Um, I got nothing more to say. I'm sorry. Uh, the match is about 3 stars, but we all know how this is gonna go. I mean, this whole tournament would be pointless now. Now you gotta do a tag team fight. We know the faces are gonna go through. That's gonna lead us to a fatal 4-way. So I mean, what's the point? What's the use? I mean, Florio, go. Just go, please.
I'm not even giving this a rating, MF. I'm NAing this thing. All right. For a moment, it appeared as though MJF was set to defend the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Sammy Guevara following the Spanish God's hijinks-filled victory over Darby Allin. The match next week will likely provide the match we expected from the moment the 4 stars shared the ring for the first time after Revolution. With that said, one has to wonder if this was really the best story that could have been told. Everything from the last 2 weeks felt oddly unnecessary, a stopgap to make up for the fact that there was no better creative on the table for what should prove to be a definitive match in AEW history. In that regard, it's disappointing. If there's any collection of talent that can overcome so-so booking, it is the 4 competitors poised to do battle on May 28th. With once Perry and Allen score the win next week. There were some moments. I will say that. There were a few good moments during this. Some funny moments on commentary. I mean, MJF joined the commentary team for the match where he repeatedly took shots at Tony Schiavone by calling him a blubbering old man at this point. And Excalibur asked MJF, "You seriously expect Sammy Guevara to take a dive at Double or Nothing?" And MJF says, "Yes, because otherwise the check will not clear." And MJF said in response to a one-liner about his limited in-ring schedule, "Daddy wrestles when Daddy wants to wrestle." Ty Mello provided a distraction that allowed Sammy to catch Allen with a Spanish fly off the top rope. Guevara delivered a 630 senton that drove Allen through a table on the arena floor. MJF gave Allen his skateboard, and referee Paul Turner caught him with it, drawing the disqualification a la Eddie Guerrero, lying, cheating, and stealing. Justin Roberts announced Guevara the winner. Jungle Boy made the save but argued with Darby, all while MJF and Sammy celebrated their hijinks on the stage. And MJF said, "You two boys are going back to the undercard where you belong." And then Tony Schiavone announced the aforementioned high-stakes tag team match for next week's show per Tony Khan. So I'm not even giving this a rating. This is an NA for me. There isn't really much more for me to add on to this. MF is 100% right. You should have just the 4-way match should have been made that first Dynamite after Revolution. That's where you should have started it. So, and then you could have done all this to build it up, whatever. But the way, I mean, the match will be great. I mean, there's no denying the match is going to be great. But the thing is, I mean, it's got show stealer potential. But the way we got there, though, that's going to leave a bad taste in all of our mouths, especially MF. So that's why he came Cerebral Viper on all of you here tonight. So not much more for me to say. I'm NAing this. I'm not even going to dignify this match with a rating. And that is the cheapest Eddie Guerrero finish I have ever seen. I mean, some of them were kind of cool, but this one, no. I'm not even going to dignify it. Bullet gun.
Eddie Guerrero made it entertaining. MJF, you really think that was entertaining? Hell no. I mean, I'm with Florio. I'm not even going to rate this. I mean, this is just, I mean, I'm not even going to dignify this match. We all know this is going to be where Darby Allin, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry are going to win. They're going to make this a fatal 4-way, but I'm with everybody. I mean, this match should have been made a fatal 4-way right from the beginning, but you want to But the way they went about it, it was just absolutely pointless. And it leaves a bad taste in all our mouths. This should have been a fatal 4-way right from the get-go. But the way they did this with this tournament, I mean, it didn't do anything for me. It certainly didn't. And you know what? I'm gonna be willing to go there. And I don't want to fucking hear any AEW marks coming out and saying, "Oh, they this was right." But if they try to defend this, you know what? All you AEW marks can go fucking screw yourselves. Done. Finish. Fletch, it's yours.
All right. Well, obviously Michael Bullock just went phenom, and I did not expect that coming. All right, so after that we had was Adam Cole cutting a promo, got interrupted by the Jericho Appreciation Society. Daniel Garcia, they tried to do a big beat down. Then you had Cole, Orange Cassidy, and Bandito came out, and so it was 4-on-3 until Roderick Strong showed up, ran into the ring, made the save, and Roddy, it's official. He's all elite. Roderick Strong. So we might be looking at a possible 8-man tag. Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Matt Menard, Angelo Parker versus Adam Cole, Orange Cassidy, Bandito, and Roderick Strong down the line.
Next week.
Yeah.
It's official. Next week, that 8-man, next week.
All right. I'm going to make some kind of theory here. I'm happy that Roddy is now in AEW. He deserves to be there. I wish he was around when you had all the members of the Undisputed Era there. That would have been epic to have all of them together. And then who knows what we would have had with that storyline. There would have been a number of storylines you could have gone with. The Elite versus the Undisputed Era. And I know they were trying to push that narrative a little bit, but Roderick obviously was under contract with WWE, so they couldn't do anything about it. And then remember there was the rumor about maybe Bobby Fish trying to bring the Undisputed Era back to WWE for Triple H. But that fell through. So now I don't know. Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly are currently unemployed. Adam Cole is now in AEW. Maybe they finally pull the trigger and do this. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see. But yeah, this was a big thing, big announcement, no doubt about it. Roderick Strong now with AEW. Cool. Then we had ourselves the big one, a highly anticipated fight: Jay Cargill versus Taya Valkyrie for the TBS Championship. Jay Cargill winning the match in 8 minutes and 15 seconds, successfully defending the title. I believe this goes to Michael Bullock. So Bullock, it's yours.
What was the time again?
8:15.
All right. I'll give this about maybe 2.5. I mean, yeah. I mean the reign of Jay Cargill continues. I mean, for me personally, I thought maybe this was going to be the time that she was going to drop it. I mean, to Taya Valkyrie, but now the question is, Fletch, as I'm going to give this about maybe 2.5. But now my question to you is, now what? I mean, because Jay Cargill has been through all the opponents that she's beaten up to this point. So who's going to end the reign? I mean, I thought this would have been the perfect opportunity, but well, I guess they want her to still be the champion. So I don't know. I mean, it's yours, Fletch. This was a missed opportunity. I mean, this is only my opinion. What says you?
Well, okay, but remember. There was a little stipulation that was added because of that little prick, Smart Mark Sterling. That
don't get me going on this guy either.
hold on. Let me get my thought out, and then you can say whatever you want to say, Bullock. Remember, Taya was not allowed to use the road to Valhalla. That was an illegal move. I guess that was part of the deal or the contract when they made the match. So obviously, you put Taya in a major disadvantage because that's the same move that Jade Cargill uses, which is the Jaden move, and that's why that the move was. And you remember, she had her up for it, and Aubrey Edwards was like, "No, you can't use the move. You can't use the move. If you do, I gotta disqualify you." So basically, she got handicapped, roll up for the victory. It's a tainted win, but they don't want to give the opportunity. But now you have a legal out where Taya can say, "Hey, wait a minute. I never got a fair break here. I had Jade on the ropes. I could have beaten her. I deserve another shot at this." All in all, I think what they're going to do is they're going to do this at Double or Nothing. And chances are maybe that's the night Jade loses the belt. But that's what my sentiments would go, is that Jade manipulated the situation, took that situation to her advantage thanks to legal counsel, and now we got this situation. But who knows? Mullet, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's that. Yeah, I completely forgot about Mark Sterling, that other little prick that I can't stand either. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens, but the old saying is, I'll believe it when I see it.
So, because we've been waiting for this title to change hands, and I'll openly admit it, a lot of fans on social media not happy tonight, very upset, very angry. Some people are saying they're sick and tired of Jade Cargill being champion, period. She's not even that good, not a great wrestler, and I'm not saying it, but this is just, and this has come from AEW marks. This isn't just, now everybody's like, "Oh, this is WWE marks, this is WWE." No, these are fans of AEW saying this. So for anybody who starts to say that, "Oh, this is AEW," no, AEW fans are saying this. I got proof. I got if you read the comments on Facebook from all the AEW websites, they are saying this. So before anybody starts jumping, start freaking out, thinking this is all WWE trolls. No, this is not WWE trolls. This is coming from actual AEW fans. So just putting it out there so that I don't get any lip or any bullshit from the actual AEW fan base saying that I'm taking it out of turn. I'm not. This is what I've read. This is what I saw. So if you want to come at me, I'll give you the fucking proof. All right? Florio, it's yours.
2.5. The crowd was relatively unresponsive to this one in comparison to the night's other matches, likely because the build to it happened primarily on B's show Rampage, and the audience had yet to have any real reason to get behind the babyface in her quest to dethrone the seemingly unconquerable champion. The stipulation regarding her finisher was fine and has worked for other matches in the past, but even then, something like Sweet Chin Music at Survivor Series 2007 was a more established finisher with the WWE audience than Valkyrie's is to the AEW fans. The post-match happening suggests the issues between champion and challenger are not finished, but Tony Khan is really going to have to work to get fans to invest in the program because as it stands now, it feels and is treated like a second or third level one. Cargill has worked too hard to develop her skills and elevate her star, and Valkyrie is too much of a veteran, and both have earned better than that. Valkyrie fought her way back into the match with the Blue Thunder Bomb after Cargill dominated early on. Challenger set Cargill up for Road to Valhalla, but both smart Mark Sterling and referee Aubrey Edwards reminded her that she could not utilize that maneuver. Chevy, the champ, capitalized on the momentary distraction, scored a roll-up, pulling the tights and getting the win. And after the match, Valkyrie threatened to deliver her finisher to Edwards, but the referee's locker room emptied and they helped calm down the challenger. So there isn't much more to say on that. 2.5. I agree. Rematch, Double or Nothing. Taya gets the win there, wins the belt, ends the reign of terror of Jade. So not much more to say. Let's move on.
And one other thing, a couple of comments from that AEW Facebook post about the show and about what happened in the match. They even said it. The worst belt right now being defended is the TBS title. They're saying that out of all the titles in AEW, the worst one has been the TBS title because of the reign and everything else. They've been unloading on Jade Cargill and unloading on the TBS title. So that you can take that for what it's worth and everything else. Really nothing more to add there. Main event of the evening was the Butcher and the Blade versus Konosuke Takeshita and Kenny Omega. Omega and Takeshita winning the match in 8 minutes and 30 seconds. Obviously beat down by the Blackpool Combat Club, and it looked like they were trying to say that Takeshita was going to be a part of the Blackpool Combat Club, but Takeshita did not want to be a part of it, and he ended up paying the price, getting the screwdriver to the head because of it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yep. I could only give this about 2.5 to 3 here. We are inching closer to a showdown between the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, but after the event of tonight's show, it appears there will be questions to answer for Takeshita. Did any of what Danielson said about him being a real professional wrestler surrounded by amateurs sink in? Might the damage done to him serve as a wake-up call? Maybe he stays true to the Elite, standing by them in a battle with BCC at Double or Nothing. Whatever the case is, this did a solid job of introducing the young star into the storyline and creating questions about where his allegiances lie. And in Don Callis and his overzealousness to get Omega and company to accept Takeshita. And you have a more layered storyline than had initially appeared, as though we may be getting out of this program. Danielson said the problem with the Elite is that they rest on their past laurels. He said before questioning why Omega and the Young Bucks have not targeted MJF and FTR since returning. Kip Sabian tripped up Kenny Omega at ringside. Penelope Ford stepped in harm's way to prevent an attack on her husband. And Butcher wiped out the former world champion to stand tall. Takeshita benefited from the hot tag, feeding off the crowd's energy and shining as he took the fight to the heels. Omega and Takeshita delivered the pile drive, Nita Butcher for the win. Danielson said, I see one professional wrestler in the ring who got the pin and one amateur who looks exhausted. The Bucks made the save following a beatdown from the heels, and Danielson attempted to recruit Takeshita, manipulating him into stopping a screwdriver attack by Omega on Moxley. Later, when the Prodigy decided not to join the heels, he found himself on the receiving end of the weapon. Vicious spot right there. So, yeah, there is absolutely no doubt about this one. Where will Takeshita, where will his allegiances lie? That's going to be the main selling point for this feud as we build to Double or Nothing. Maybe this is a blood and guts match down the road. It's definitely looking like a blood and guts match here. So there's not much more to say on this. This was about 2.5, 2 3/4 of a star. So obvious outcome. So not much more to say on that. So Bullock, the main selling point is where will Takeshita's allegiances continue this feud between the Elite and the BCC, which I believe is leading to either a blood and guts match at Double or Nothing, or maybe an anarchy in the arena rules match, maybe.
Yeah, but either way, we're going to get a match with the Elite and the Blackpool Combat Club, and I think it's going to be blood and guts at Double or Nothing because that's how I see it happening. So 2.5, 2 3/4 on this. I'm with you on this, so it's your sledge.
2.5 to 3, no doubt about it. Really good main event match. Aside for what it's worth, and yeah, we can't wait to see what that next part is going to be. It's going to be very interesting to see. Nothing more to say. Overall review, Michael Bullock. You lead off.
I said I thought it was a good show. I'll give this about maybe a 7.5 to 8. I mean, there were some things I thought that were really good, but I think there were some that definitely could have been better. But I thought they did a good job. So nothing more to say. It's your Sledge.
7.5 out of 10. A total agreement. Anthony, go.
I will give it 7 to 7.5 for me. So solid, not overly spectacular. Some things could have been better, but the opener, far and away the fight of the night. Not much more to say. MF, let's put the bow on this. And by the way, Friday night, Rampage, 5:30. Remember that.
Yeah. So, all right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna preview now TXN Sports World that's going down tomorrow. We got a lot. We got a pretty good show. Anthony Florio will lead it, set it up.
All righty, just give me a few minutes here as I'm frozen. So, okay, all right. Okay, just wanted to clear up those little difficulties there. Okay, well, TXN Sports World starting in a big way. Aaron Rodgers has a new team. We're going to tell you who that new team is, although you already know who it is. But all I can say is business has damn sure picked up in the AFC East. I'm just going to say that right here and now. So Aaron Rodgers, we'll start off with that. And then we will preview the XFL playoffs, the XFL semifinal matchups, those divisional semifinals. And then we'll preview week 3 of the USFL. MF, I know you want to recap the latest UFC fight night as well as that big boxing match. I know you want to address those things. And then in the main event, it's our continuing coverage of the Bruins, of the Celtics chat, the Bruins beat, and the Rangers roundup. So that's pretty much it. So Aaron Rodgers, the preview of the XFL playoffs, preview of week 3 of the USFL. MF will recap the UFC fight night and the big boxing match, and then our main event will be the continuing coverage of the Celtics chat, Bruins beat, and Rangers roundup. So that's all tomorrow night, 10:30. So be there or be square. So not much more to say. MF, hit him up with the rest of the future content.
Then after that, like we said, Friday night is Cerebral Smack Talk, the biggest show of the year. As obviously this time around, we're going to go in reverse order. We're going to start out with AEW Rampage because it does start earlier in the afternoon at 5:30. And then we will have exclusive coverage of the WWE Draft, as that will be the big one. Night 1 of the draft. Who does Raw get? Who does SmackDown get? Are we getting some surprises? Is there some surprise call-ups from NXT? We will have all the information that will be going down on Friday night. That's at 11. You would have even started earlier, 10:30 Eastern, for that as well. Then we do it all over again. Monday night, Ridiculously Raw. After Raw goes off the air, we will have the second night of the WWE Draft. And then, of course, Anthony will have his Tony's Take, Level Up, and Impact Wrestling. And then we might even do a special TXN Sports World because of the fact we'll do the Bruins beat, the Ranger Roundup, and the Celtics chat on Tuesday night, because then we got Wednesday night will be our traditional Wednesday Night Madness, because 1 week from tonight, or 1 week from now on that Thursday, is the NFL Draft Special. The recap from the NFL Draft as we give our letter grades and our thoughts on all 32 teams in the NFL Draft. So we got that coming up. So we're going to be pretty busy for the next week or so, folks. So nothing more to add. Thank you, Anthony Floyo. Thank you, Michael Bullock, as always. Thank you, guys. Like the video, leave a comment at the bottom. Share with all your friends on all the social media platforms around the world. And until then, we'll see you guys tomorrow night for a special edition of TXN Sports World. Until then, I am Michael Fletcher saying so long, everybody.
Goodbye.